The avoidant person builds their entire relational identity around the assumption that others will always care more, need more, and pursue more than they reciprocate. This imbalanced dynamic provides them with psychological security, confirming their belief that they hold power through emotional distance and strategic withdrawal. However, when they encounter genuine indifference from someone who once cared deeply, their entire psychological framework experiences catastrophic disruption. The realization that someone has genuinely moved beyond caring triggers a cascade of internal responses that challenge every defensive assumption they have constructed about relationships and their own significance. Their sense of control collapses. The avoidant person derives comfort from believing they maintain control over relationship dynamics through their ability to withdraw and create distance. When someone genuinely stops caring, this illusion of control shatters completely. They discover that their withdrawal no longer holds power because the person they are withdrawing from has already emotionally departed. This creates a disorienting experience where their primary defensive strategy becomes meaningless, like wielding a weapon that no longer intimidates. The collapse of control triggers profound anxiety within the avoidant person's psyche. They suddenly occupy the powerless position they have spent years avoiding, the position of being the one who cares more or the one potentially being left behind. This role reversal forces them to confront feelings of vulnerability and insignificance they typically project onto others. Their nervous system, conditioned to feel safe through emotional superiority, suddenly registers danger in the absence of their former partner's investment and attention. Thus, they experience delayed emotional impact. The avoidant person often takes considerable time to process the reality of their former partner's genuine indifference. Initially, they may feel relief that pressure and expectations have lifted, interpreting the absence of pursuit as validation of their need for space. However, as time passes and they realize their former partner has truly moved forward without looking back, delayed grief and loss begin surfacing. Emotions they suppressed during the relationship suddenly demand attention when there is no longer any relationship to defend against. This delayed processing creates a painful irony where the avoidant person finally accesses genuine feelings for someone who no longer cares to receive them. They begin recognizing the value of what they lost only after it becomes irretrievable. The safety they once felt in knowing someone cared transforms into loneliness when that caring evaporates. Their defensive detachment, which protected them from vulnerability during the relationship, now leaves them isolated with emotions they can no longer share or repair. So as their self-narrative gets challenged, the avoidant person constructs elaborate internal narratives, justifying their emotional distance, typically casting themselves as the rational party dealing with an overly emotional or needy partner. When someone stops caring entirely, this narrative loses its foundation. They cannot maintain the story that their partner was too dependent when that person demonstrates complete independence and emotional self-sufficiency. Their justifications for withdrawal ring hollow when confronted with someone who has genuinely stopped needing their presence or validation. This narrative disruption forces uncomfortable self-reflection about their role in relationship failures. Without the convenient explanation that others are too needy or demanding, they must confront the possibility that their own avoidance created the disconnection. This realization threatens their psychological defenses, suggesting that their behavior rather than others' neediness might be the consistent problem across failed relationships. They attempt reconnection from weakness. The avoidant person may find themselves reaching out from a position of need rather than their usual stance of detached superiority. This role reversal feels profoundly uncomfortable and frightening, as they must now risk the vulnerability and potential rejection they spent years avoiding.